Hi again, it's Mrs. Thompson here again, and today we're going to look at fractions again. Today we're going to look a little bit more at equivalent fractions to start off today. So you can see here that on my board I have drawn 3 bars of chocolate. 1 bar of chocolate is a whole. You can see though that on each bar I have shaded some of the bar. And if we look in this bar of chocolate, I have shaded a half. On this bar of chocolate, I have shaded 4 out of 8 pieces, so that makes 4 eighths. And over here, I have shaded 5 out of 10 pieces. These are all different fractions, but in actual fact, if we use the fraction board, we can see that these fractions are in fact equivalent. So here, this was half of the bar, so I'm going to take half of the bar and pop that here. This bar of chocolate, we can see that the fraction of the pieces shaded was 4 eighths. So I can take 4 eighths from my fraction board and there you can see that 4 eighths is exactly the same as half. In this bar we worked out that the shaded part was 5 tenths, and if I use our tenths row on the fraction board, we can see that 5 tenths takes up the same amount of space as 4 eighths, which takes up the same amount of space as a half. So therefore we can say that a half is the same fraction as 4 eighths and 5 tenths. And we call this an equivalent fraction. Okay, so you can see that now on my board I have written down 3 fractions. At the top here I have a half, 1 over 2. Here I have a third, 1 over 3, which means that the whole has been divided into 3 parts. And down here we can see I have a fifth. So we know that here the whole was divided into 5 parts. I'm going to show you some equivalent fractions for each of these, and I'm going to see if you can spot a pattern. We can see from our fraction board that a half actually takes up the same space as 2 quarters. So I'm going to write that here. So a half is 2 quarters. I can also see by looking at my fraction board that as well as a half being the same as 2 quarters, it is also the same as 4 eighths. If we look now at the top row, we can see that the numbers have changed. 1, 2, 4. If we look really, really carefully, we can see that this number has been doubled. Because double 1 makes 2. We can then see, if we look at the next equivalent fraction, that this number 4 is double 2. So again, it has doubled. If we look at the bottom number of the fractions, we can see that that same pattern is there as well. 2 gets doubled to make 4. 4 gets doubled to make 8. For those of you who are really, really smart, and I know P3B and P3A, you're all really smart, you could look and see what the next fraction is going to be. Double 4, 4 and 4 more makes 8. And on the bottom, double 8, so 8 and 8 must make 16. So even though my fraction board doesn't go that far, I can see those equivalent fractions by doubling the numbers. If we look at the two fractions underneath, we can see that the same pattern works. 1 over 3, so 1/3, is the same on our fraction board if we look at 2/6. And then we could use that knowledge of doubling to help us work out the next fraction. So double 1 made 2, so double 2 is going to make 4, and then we have 3 that was doubled to make 6, and then 6 doubled is 12. And we can see that all of these are equivalent fractions. You can do the same at the bottom for fifths. Double it to find the next fraction on the top and the bottom to make 2 over 10, which again we can see represented on our fraction board. I hope that helps you with your equivalent fractions at home. Okay, so for the next part of our lesson, we're going to look at different fractions and compare them. For this task, you were asked to draw some circles at home and then draw out some different fractions, and I have done the same here. So I've got my fractions pizzas here, and I'm just going to lay them out on the table so that you can see them. You can see that I'm putting various different pizzas down, and they have been shaded to show different amounts of pizzas left. You need to do the same at home. So here on the front, you can see that there are 3 pieces of pizza shaded on this one out of 5. So this fraction is 3/5. And so what I have done is write that on the back of the pizza too. Now, what we're going to do now is have a look at all the different pizzas. First of all, can we see any that are the same? If I look, I can see that this pizza has got the same amount left as this one. So if I turn over, I can see a half is the same as 4/8, which we discovered earlier. And actually, look, here's another pizza that has the same, and this one is 2/4. So you can use your pizzas to see if you can find some equivalent fractions. If I have a little look here, I can see that there are some more in my collection. This pizza looks as if it has the same amount left as this pizza. If I turn over, I can see the fractions, 1/3 and 2/6. So I know that they are equivalent fractions. You may have different fractions to me, so you can try this activity with whichever fractions of your pizzas you have drawn at home. The next activity I want you to do is to have a little look at all of the pizzas and see if you can arrange them in order of the pizza that has least left to eat all the way up to the pizza that has most left. So I can see that this pizza, well, there's not very much left there, so I'm going to put that this side. And I can see that this one here looks as if it has most left along with this one, because actually they are the same. They are equivalent fractions there too. I'm then going to look and see if I can order all of the rest of the pizzas. Where is this one going to go? I have 1/5. Is that bigger or smaller than 1/4? I think it's smaller, so I'm going to move it into there. You see if you can continue on ordering your pizzas. Okay, our last activity is where we're going to look at comparing and ordering fractions. You should all have had a good chance to play with your pizza fractions and looking to see which was smallest and which was biggest. We're now just going to build on that And to do that, we're going to introduce some symbols, 3 different symbols. This one you will be familiar with already. This is your equal sign. That means that something is the same as something else. This symbol, we call it a greater than symbol. We can see that this side, it looks like a sort of open mouth. This side is greater than this side because this is just a small point. So we have equals, and then we have greater than, and then we have the opposites to this, which is this symbol, and it's just going the other way around, and we have less than. And these symbols are really useful so that we can order different size objects or different size fractions. So all I want you to do is pick 2 fractions, any 2 pizzas at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this one here, and I am going to pick this one here. So I'll just move that one very slightly. So here I can see the 2 pizzas that I have chosen. I can see that they're clearly different, so I can't use the equal sign. If I look really carefully, I can see that this pizza slice is smaller than this pizza slice. So to make a mathematical sentence, I'm going to put this sign in. So then it says, this pizza is smaller than this pizza. This pizza has less left than this pizza. I could try another one. I could try this pizza pair, and if I look, this pizza has less pizza than this one again. So I could put in that same symbol. However, if I chose this pizza and this pizza, I can see that this one has far more slices than this one. So I need to use the greater than symbol for this pizza pair. The last one I'm going to look at is this one and this one. Then I can see, if I look at the 2 different pizzas, that in actual fact they are equal. So I can put in the equals sign there. What I can then do, because this is really nice and easy because you can see the pictures, but to help you really understand your fractions, because you've written the fraction on the back, you can turn them over. So 1/3 is less than a half. 2/6, oops, that's just got caught there. 2/6 is less than 3/5. 6/10 is greater than or bigger than 1/5. And 4/8 is equal to 2/4. I hope you have fun doing that at home, and I hope that the lesson today has helped you understand about equivalent fractions and comparing fractions.